Welcome everybody. In this video, we wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction to permaculture and what we're planning to do with the land regarding permaculture. We have been here now for roughly 3 weeks, a month. And in the first year, when you're new to a place, you want to do something, you just observe it. So 1 year's observational phase, so that you've got covered every single month of the year. Here in this area, what is important is the 2 rainy seasons. We are coming up to the first rainy season that starts in May. Then we have another rainy season that is towards the end of the year. This one will be the heavy rain season. So what we will be doing once we are properly on the land is we are going to take our lovely little guide from Aranya. He also, it is called the Permaculture Design Book by Aranya. And this will help us a lot setting pretty much everything that we need in order to start our observation. We also took our permaculture design course with Aranya, and when you do that, you get a lot of amazing notes. So highly recommend it. So we will take all of these notes and we'll start recording everything that we find on the land. And you want to include everything you can think of: the wind, the sun pattern, during the day, during the night, throughout the day, where does the sun go, what's the dominant wind pattern, the rain, how often does it rain per month, where does it pool on the earth, all of the plants, all of the animals. So that will be our very big task for the first year. You want to have 1 year of pure observation. What you try to do is not put down anything permanent. Now, we're building a house that is permanent, but we tried to put it in a location where there is not too much in the location. The house will be permanent. We are waiting with pretty much everything until that 1 year is over. In the meantime, what we will do, because we do want to be self-sustainable at some point. So we bought quite a lot of seeds. This is beans. Beans. We don't actually know what variety that is, so we'll find out. It says cut BI. We'll find out. We'll let you know when the beans grow. We also got a lot of other things. If you want to show our little bag of wonders. So here, for example, we have corn. We got some carrots. We got some watermelon. Watermelon is a really good starter because it also prepares the soil. Just as squash also prepares your soil, and as Jonah rightly said, a lot of good ground cover. Sunflowers. Sunflowers are a really good crop that grows with others. Onion. More squash varieties, just courgette. Yes, zucchini. Yeah. So we're going to start in bare patches that we have, because we have quite a few bare patches. We're going to start planting these things. We have another book called Living with the Earth. It's the farm Bec Eloi in France. They are a massive permaculture farm, and in their second book, they outline which plants you can grow together, which plants like each other in terms of vegetables. So we will follow their guide. One thing we already know is the Three Sisters. That is a Native American way of planting corn, squash, and beans together, because they give each other nutrients. And the beans, when they grow up on the corn, you don't need any other support for the bean. So we'll look at all of these different kinds of things in the first year. So we will concentrate on annuals in the first year, simply because we want to wait with all of the trees until the second year. That's it for a little bit of what we're going to do in the first year. A big thing here will be water. So how we will manage water naturally will also be a big part in the first year, but we will do plenty of videos about how we're going to do that. One of the main reasons why you spend a year observing the land is because permaculture is about 70% planning and 30% implementing. And the reason for that is because you want to make your life as easy as possible. Permaculture can help. So for example, if you have a really good water management plan in place because you know exactly where your water flows, how much it rains throughout the day, where you might place ponds, where you might place these things called swales that we're going to show you later on as we progress. The more you take away from having to water your plants all the time, because the swales are going to take care of it, your pond might take care of it. You know, if you look at the land very, very carefully, where you might place water butts, where trees might provide the best shade, where they might protect you from the wind, so that you can then place crops on the other side of the wind, so they're not so windswept anymore. So there's a lot of advantages for spending an entire year observing, because you then have created far less work for you. So it's not only that you're just observing, you don't do anything on the land, but you can already create your plans, your maps. Because one thing is that you are going to create a lot of maps called base layer maps. So you note the wind direction, you note any cold pockets, you note the way that the water flows, everything and anything. You make a map of how the situation is at the moment versus where you would like to be, your end goal. And then you start implementing after 12 months. And we will get there. Further to what we explained when we were on the land, here is a little example of the permaculture books that we have. We have, at the moment, we have 2 books of the Living with the Earth series. These are manuals. They're called manuals for market gardeners, but it's got pretty much everything to do with permaculture in them. And they are very, very practical guides. The 3rd book in the series is still in a box, but it should arrive this week, we're hoping. Then we've got Rosemary Merrow's Earth Restorer's Guide, People in Permaculture by Louis McNamara, Permaculture Principles and Pathways Beyond Sustainability by David Holmgren, one of the founders of permaculture. And then what you've already seen, the Permaculture Design, a step-by-step guide by Aranya. This little book will be the most useful for us in the observation year, as well as the 2 Living with the Earth books, because they are incredibly practical books. So we will use these a lot for our observation year. Hello. And what we will also be doing and have been doing is looking at a lot of videos, reading a lot of things on the internet. Yesterday, for example, we read that, Jonah looked at a video where she explained that if you have tomato seeds and you ferment them for 3 days in their own juice, the good seeds fall to the bottom, the viable seeds, the bad seeds, unviable seeds go to the top. After 3 days, the fermentation has gotten rid of the casing around the seeds, making it much easier for the plants to germinate. So we're going to give that a go. So videos can help you a lot with guides, but nothing is as good as doing it yourself. So we are very, very much looking forward to being on the land and starting this whole process. You can learn a lot from books. You can read all you want about everything, but you have to do it yourself. Otherwise, you only know half the things. And we're only at the beginning of the journey. We're not going to pretend that we know a lot about permaculture already, because we still need to implement it and actually do the work. One thing that we wanted to show you that we have already applied in permaculture, I'm looking over there because Jonah's standing there, is a water survey. So a thing that you want to do when you can do it at any time. You can do it for yourself as well. A water survey is basically what water is coming into where I live,
and what water am I using, and how is it going to be either reused or wasted. So since we haven't had water for 5 days now, it came back briefly for half a day yesterday, but no water for 5 days. We are living out of jerry cans at the moment. So I will show you the jerry cans. They're in our little bathroom area. And basically these cans have to serve for our water needs for, we don't know for how long. We've got 9, and each jerry can has 20 liters. So we do our washing in these sinks, bowls? Basins? Yeah. We have 3 of these basins, so we clean them, we use them for washing dishes, we use them to wash ourselves. So, I don't know, it's dark in here, but there's a blue basin. I think I'm blocking the light. There's a blue basin in here that we use for washing, and which you can't see, there's a black bucket in here. No, you really can't see it. That is used for flushing the toilet. I will spare you looking at the toilet at the moment because we're going after the principle. If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. We just don't have enough water. So we estimated that at the moment 1 jerry can is enough for 4 washes. So depending on how often you wash yourself, 4 washes in a 20-liter jerry can. We use about 1/4 of a jerry can for washing the dishes, and we use about half a jerry can for when it's brown in the toilet. So roughly 1.5 to 2 jerry cans a day. So these 9 cans will be good for just about more than 4 days. And then we need to go and fetch. There's a water collection point nearby, so we will go and get a bit more water. So these are the little adventures that we have, living in a place that doesn't have running water. Apparently they had this issue in Malindi last year, February already, because there are too many illegal water connections. We don't know if that's true. But on the other hand, it is teaching us a hell of a lot about how to be resourceful with water. And you can still do everything that you do, because fresh water we get from a different place anyway. That is separate. So we have enough drinking water. We don't use tap water for drinking. Yes, that is a little introduction to permaculture. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to know anything in particular, Aranya can answer these questions. We will get there. We will get there. We will take you along on the journey, and eventually we will increase our knowledge, and yeah, we'll take you along on the ride. See you next time. Bye.